three-time world champion Clayster as our guest. Really excited about this one. Clay, how's it going, man?
Going well, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, not too bad. Enjoyed a good day of COD action. Seattle Thermal's comeback, really entertaining on that front. So kind of want to start there and kind of get like some reactions from this week, because obviously there were some changes and stuff like that. And yeah, I kind of want to just like start at the top. I think it was Florida got 3-0'd by who was it, Clay? Do you know? I'm sorry, I don't have the.
Honestly, when the matches are going on, I'm practicing. So these last 2 days
Mm,
of matches, like I've watched, but not like I can't remember off the top of my head just because I don't remember exactly
smart.
what time they are. Yeah, it's
Smart.
like the matches are right in the middle of our scrim block, so like we'll watch them after. But
It was
like,
Toronto.
oh yeah, I mean Toronto just won the major, man.
Yeah.
They're firing on all cylinders now. They look by far and away the best teamwork in the game. Like watching Toronto the last major, I was even like saying on Twitter, like these guys look insanely good right now. Like they're playing off each other. They're playing patient. They're playing like coordinated and coming up with like really solid, just like not basic strats, but just like strats that work really well for them, and they just keep defaulting into them. And so beating Toronto is going to be hard right now. Like Atlanta couldn't do it at the major, and they're like the best team in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how long they can keep their form in this level of play.
How do
Yeah,
you? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, and it's obviously against Florida, who's fresh off of making a change. So there's Havoc's debut there, but I agree. Toronto just won the last major, not surprising there. And then the other match we had was Paris versus Dallas, 3-1 Dallas, and then we had obviously Hook getting benched after that.
Yeah,
So
that's nuts,
that's
man.
a crazy storyline. So I mean, I
I
don't even.
mean,
Yeah.
they've been not like I know that they've been going through their problems, but like they just got second and then just got third, and you can't really be upset. Like I know those players, like I know Krim like really well. Obviously, me being on that team last year, Krim's like one of my good friends, and I know him, and he doesn't like settle for less than like competing to win every time, right? And that might seem like for me and the kind of where I've been around and stuff, I'm now back in that mindset as well, where like if I'm not competing for championships, it's a failure, even if it's second or third. Like if I don't have a chance to win, like there's like it upsets me, it frustrates me, right? And he's that way a lot. But in my time before, like last year or even the United year, I was just trying to get top three. I was happy with top three. Like if I could get into top three, like getting top three was hard, dude. Like if I could get there, like I'd be like, okay, like we got here, now let's try and win it. But like I'd have steps. But like there's a shift in mindset where I know how Porter is. He just like wants to win so bad, like so bad. And who I don't really know the inner workings of what happened, but I can only assume it's something where he was just like something needs to happen, and then Kyler was probably like, all right, I'll like let fellow play and Ender move to a sub or something. Like I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm sure it's something along those lines.
Yeah, crazy move. I wonder. I mean, obviously, this is like we said, all speculation. Nobody actually truly knows. I guess, well, probably somebody does. But I'm sitting here wondering, like, if we're ever gonna see Hook play again this year. Like that's actually crazy to think about that Kyler might not play another game this year.
Yeah,
Or,
I mean it's crazy, but like if every team in the league that isn't the Dallas Empire isn't knocking on the Dallas Empire's door right now, they're insane. Like Kyler is an unreal talent, man. I played with him last year. He's insanely good. I would be trying to like, dude, I mean, if I didn't have sub players already, like I would be screaming at Empire, like, what do you want for him? Take the whole house, like
yeah, it might come to a situation though where, or like, I'm not sure what Stro does about this stuff, but he might not want to let Hook go to like give him to another competitor that's at
true.
their level
I
right
mean, how
now. I
many
mean,
years
it's
has
speculation as well.
Tyler
But
been on NV slash
Dude, as a
Empire?
whole, his whole career, he's like the
Yeah.
face of that team. He played for him in Halo. He played for him in COD. Like,
I see that being a big buyout or not even, not even able to start the discussion. Maybe I don't know. We'll have to see. But he was on my fantasy team, so I took
dude,
him.
if like that's the thing too is it really depends. Like, I think Stro and Kyler have a super really good relationship. Like, Hastro has always been huge Kyler fan, and who wouldn't be? And honestly, there was a situation a couple years ago where he loaned Kyler to Splice for a season, and so maybe we see something like that where they keep him like
BO4,
under
right?
contract. Yeah, I think BO4, and so they keep him under contract. And because there's no way like when Kyler's done competing, he will have a job at MB, like without a shadow of a doubt. Like he'll have a great position there. He'll love it if he wants it, you know.
Mhm.
And it only makes sense for them and how their relationship has blossomed. Like I don't think they would outright sell him either. I think they would do like I don't even know if that's possible in the franchise like environment, like because it's never like franchise like era
Yeah,
where there's been a loan like that. So it makes me interested to see like
right.
if that's even possible, you know?
I mean, this is a more of a like big time soccer thing, you know, to make a loan like of that level during the season. And then this is all speculative from the outside looking in, but how do you then look and feel and have to respond to your fan base and investors, whatever, sponsors, if who ends up on a team that ends up just smoking you at some point?
Which
You
will
know?
happen. It will
That,
happen,
I,
like
I
without a
mean that
shadow of a doubt.
that's not great either. So um I love that Tyler Fellow is getting a shot. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, it happening in the middle. Is this also the first time it's kind of happened, at least this year, where it happened in the middle of a like this immediate after a
Like a stage start, you're saying?
yeah
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them have really happened like in the middle. Like I think all of them have really been announced like the week before a stage starts. Like they
right
never really
like play it
like
out.
people usually like play the whole thing together and then they'll like reassess and do it. But if it happened, after the first game, this is something that they had been trying to do for 2 weeks probably.
I think so.
Like it
Yeah.
was just like it just happened to come to a head after that game for whatever reason.
Right,
Whatever
Yeah.
it was, the issue or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
because the question that's also always been asked by a lot of not just fans but people on the outside looking in, esports players from other games and stuff, is that you guys have the ability to start different players even map to map, no? Or did they
Yeah.
change that rule?
No, this is the first year that's actually allowed, or maybe
So I
last year
would
was one of the.
be very interested to see if that's even something, not just in this situation, but if
Yeah.
we ever do see. Um, I know that there's talk of certain teams maybe doing that last year, but very interested to
Yeah, like
see.
5-man teams, dude. Like I've always wanted to try it. Like I'm the type of player I am. Like I'm always thinking outside the box like that. Like I see moments where I'm weak on a certain map and we get a player who just happens to be like likes that map and even just like swapping that out. But the infrastructure behind a 5-man team like isn't there for COD yet. Like it's so secular
Uh-huh.
for just being like these are the people playing. Like for that extra person, they would have to basically be committing just as much time and like being in all the scrims because everything you talk about, like
Yeah,
say you talk about something with one of the players and then you go to swap in the other one and he doesn't like wasn't there for the conversation. So like it needs to be like he's a part of the team. He's there every day, and it's just not there for COD yet. Like
yeah.
your sub players never like there every day. Like they're streaming or they're playing with their challengers team or whatever. So it
Mhm.
would have to be built like, yo, this is like we're having an extra couple like man or extra 2 men, and like everybody's gonna get their time, but like we all got to be practicing. And I think Toronto actually tried that a bit last year, but they did like
Yeah,
different
the change.
versions of their team.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't just like
Mm.
map to map. It was just like we're gonna field this team, or we're gonna field this team, but they were all like collaborative.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think the first teams to try that. I don't know if you have to like give warning to your opponent or not, but
Nah, you
that's
don't have
also
to do shit.
that's a
Oh,
huge to me. That's going to be a huge advantage the first time it happens. Like scouting reports and everything out the window. I don't know. You have an S&D star or something, or someone who's just like you said, really good on this map, and then
yeah.
all of a sudden you load in and you see that. I don't know. I'd be
It,
on tilts already a little bit.
yeah. I feel like if it were to happen, like I think it makes the most sense for a team to have like a permanent like S&D player and that they would subbed out like the same person every time. Like it would, like Clay is saying, it has to be really, really structured. Otherwise, if you're doing it like for like one S&D and then you just randomly do it in a respawn, it's obviously probably not going to work out as good. So I think it could happen, but like I
I
guess
got
like
all
on the search and destroy level, you like
huge
Tupac, I don't
pressure
know,
on that one player, though. I think, right?
oh yeah. And
Yeah.
also if it's like a younger player, like and they're involved with like the pro teams like only like search and destroy practice, you gotta think about like, like I guess like they're not going to be scrimming with their challengers team at the same time. So if they're a sub, they're not developing as well as much in respawn. So it's kind of like you'd almost have to maybe look at it and get like a veteran or something. Like I don't know. It's very interesting topic for sure.
And there's been 2 examples of it happening last year. I think Seattle did it one time for like Pander or something, and then OGLA did it for Dashi for a map. And both of those were examples of like extreme measures where like the team wasn't like performing well anyways, and so like they've been disastrous like the 2 times it's happened like mid-series. But I don't think that's like a good example. Like if say for example you have, like me back on Empire, right? And we have a 5-man roster for this. Then like, and we're a good team, and then like I'm staying active and staying playing, and like they're giving me reps, and then like I come in for certain maps, and like we have like a configuration of really good players that work really well together, that are already a high level. It's not like a disaster situation. Like this is
Right.
built that way. Then I think it could work. Like I really do, but it's just I don't know if COD's there yet, and I don't know if the mindset and the egos of the 5th player will ever be able to handle that too. Like COD players, like being on like the 5th man is like unacceptable for a lot of people,
Or becoming that 4th man who then becomes
Exactly.
benched, and then
Yeah.
what if it works lights out, and then it's like, all right, now we're putting in.
And then they run into issues like what if you're significantly performing better with a certain group of 4, and then that 5th dude just like stops getting time because like the other 4
Right.
are better, Like there's so many little like things like that you'd have to end up like dealing with that.
Yeah.
Because you can't just promise that everyone gets time all the time. It's like a certain 4 is going to be your best 4, like almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting, like kind of thought experiment, and I think for coaches to think about going down the road, and as franchising continues, and just the amount of talent that we continue to see, that doesn't have a spot yet. I think I love academy teams. You're one of the New York subliners, which by the way is part of our extended family through Astro. It was super exciting when we heard you guys were being picked up by Astro too, or you're picking up Astro, whatever you want to put it. But love to see any of these official academy teams, and you guys obviously have one that's just been frying all year.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
All year too.
It's been a bit weird because how the academy teams function is like we've used like the players off the academy team now twice. I think we used DiamondCon to begin with, and now we're using like another one of them. And I mean everybody already knows it, but like basically we're just trying out different configurations of our team, and that academy team is an awesome resource to not only have for like the players to play at the highest level and get good, but like also to be ready to be called up and like put on a contract and like play on the pro team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
matters
it's
a lot.
seamless, right? It's pretty seamless, like compared to if you were picking up someone from, let's just say, like from our team.
Yeah,
you'd
from
have to
another
call,
team.
right?
It's the thing. It's like we have them in an umbrella. We already know their agent or the player or whoever it is. We can like instantly do it. They're already in the system under contract, and unlike it just immediately gets upgraded to a pro contract, and
Yeah.
it's super simple and easy. And like this is the first team I've really been on that has had like a farm system like that. So it's been cool.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of other esports, I know. So I mean,
Yeah.
I've been very vocal about wanting to see more academy teams eventually from every franchise. I think with the amount of talent too in challengers, would love to do it, but that's not up to me, obviously. So.
Yeah, it's been crazy to see like how many first year players are coming up, and I'm thinking back to like when I first started watching COD. We're talking about like Black Ops 1. And I'm like super young back then. To see where it came to now, where like before franchising, it was like either you're kind of like a pro or you're an AM, and like if you're an AM, you don't really ever get to work in a structured environment like these academy players do now. And I think that's huge because obviously, as my job, working with our COD team is to get them ready to be in the CDL. That's obviously my goal. Want to help them get there. So obviously being a CDL franchise, having an academy team is putting those kids in a good structure, to actually get better. And it's just been crazy to see, like, we can talk more about the like COD growing and stuff like that over the years, but that's like one of the most like standout things to me this year is how, like, obviously you guys called up too, and then Standy came to Minnesota, but yeah, like even London's got some subbing in, subbing outs going on. So yeah, I mean,
There's been a lot of call ups, especially this year and last year, man. because and like everyone's always like, well, the old pros are just getting phased out, but it's like a lot of it is these challenger players getting understanding to be able to come in and make an impact immediately. And like if you were to do that, if I was to pick up an amateur player 3 years ago that had only been playing a year or two, like it's gonna take a while to teach them. But like if they come in already with a year or two under their belt and challengers like on a top team, then they can come in and know how to play. Like they know what they're doing. They're playing the same game as us. So it's like yeah, it might not be against the best comp, but like they still, if they've been like thinking about the game and creating strategies and following strategies and communicating while you're playing and all that stuff, like they should be able to fit into a pro team because now their teammates are now better. So
Yeah.
it's not like they're just playing better people. It's like, well, now your teammates are a lot better, and if you've been working your ass off, you should be able to slot right in.
Yeah. I think that takes us to a good kind of topic. Do we get through all the results? We can come back to it if not.
We can come back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, because Clay, like, there's almost a little. I want to call it a meme, but of you being this great. I don't know if you want to say mentor or great kind of person to veteran to lead new players. So we've got a few years ago, Simp, that amazing story. Although he didn't have, I guess there was no challengers back then. Now that I just realized that coming in and just dominating and you know MVP type performance almost right off the gate. Last year you and Porter with I don't want to call them kids, but the young guns.
Yeah.
You've got kind of the meme of like Clay with the young talent, which I don't think is a bad at all thing. Like they say, LeBron is kind of the greatest leader. I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm biased. LeBron is the greatest leader because he has a place where he knows that he's the GOAT or one of the two, but can work with young players, can help develop players like certain other all-stars and all-time greats can't. Is it something that you really pride yourself in? And I guess kind of speak a little bit about both the experiences with Simp, with last year's Empire Boys, and now, I mean, you're working with Mac, who's second-year player, but
Yeah.
I don't
And
know
also-
if we can talk about the other player coming through. But
Yeah, I don't know if we
potentially
can yet or not yet either. So.
potentially working with another really highly touted young rookie, potentially maybe.
Yeah, man, it's been interesting because it is something that like I value and that I put a lot of effort into. Like but it kind of relates more into less. I hate how I get all the credit for it. Is what I'm trying. It's like, well, this is the main point. Like, I want to first say that, like, while I do enjoy doing it and I am quite good at it and all that, a lot of the times it's like small things. Like, they are amazing players, great gun skill. They like have a good head on their shoulders, and then I come in and just like sand the edges a little bit, just like little things, and then like they perform well, and people are like, "Yo, Clay's to go for t-shirt," and it's like, well. I didn't do too much, and I hate taking away the credit from these young guys just because like they're really good at Call of Duty, and I think that group of like Simp, Celium, Illy, like that whole group of players coming
Shout
up.
out to United Cadets.
Yeah,
Right?
United Cadets, and like
Wow.
I convinced Burns at that time to pay them like $500 a month when they were all underage, under 18, because I knew like I'm very good at scouting talent. Like that for me is like my biggest attribute is that like I can play against somebody one time and immediately tell you like, oh, this guy's good, or oh, this kid's not that good. And like it's not 100%, but I played against those guys enough when I was like playing wagers and like Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, like those S&D tournaments. We would match up against them all the time, and like the way they played made me realize like, yo, these kids are thinking, they're like smart, like they're trying to like they're creating strategies, countering pro strategies, and like just dominating us. And like we had to create new stuff to even counter them, like when we were playing these S&D tournaments, because they were like for thousands of dollars. So I kind of cheated in a way with Simp and even Illy in a way, like knowing those players being so good is like I played them for years and years and years. And everyone likes to look at Simp now and be like, oh, it was he was dominating in the amateur scene and like the wager scene, and then he had just won like the challenge, like it was like a amateur event with like the FaZe Academy team or something with like Phantoms and those guys.
Yeah.
And so like but at the time, nobody, like my own team didn't even want to pick Simp up because they're like, oh, like he's kind of like a head case on Twitter. He's a little bit emo, yada yada. Like we don't think he's going to handle like the transition to the pro environment. And every other pro team thought the same, but I was like, no, like he's on our team. Like he's joining our team. Me and Burns decided like y'all are playing with him. And then he's had a historic run since then. And it's like I think people just get blinders to some things, but it's like when I played him and saw him play, I'm like, this kid's amazing. And kind of same thing with Abizi. Like us picking up Abizi, we played against him in ranked play. Me, Prestini, and Arcides all played against him in ranked play, and he had like
what game was this? Sorry.
World War II, and he was like a not unknown. He like was kind of just getting started on E6, and they never broke top 8. I think they always placed top 12. And we played against him in ranked play, and he had like 3 of the top 5 elos in ranked play on Smurfs. And we all decided we were like, yo, this kid's beating us like 1v3. Like let's team up with him. So then we like got him into our party, started playing with him. And after like a night of playing, I was like, dude, I'm doing whatever I can to get this kid on my team, like immediately. And like we couldn't do it for World War II. And then BO4 came around. I was like, Burns, like get this guy, like now, like get him. He's good, dude. And so it's been like different experiences with all of them, because me and Simp have had a long relationship spanning back to when like he was 15 and shit. Like, and then me and Abizi met in ranked play, and then me and Shotzi had never met until we teamed on Empire, and like kind of same thing with Illy. So it was a bit of a different experience with them, but being able to have Krim on the Empire team and then Ray eventually helped me so much with those guys. Like they getting Shotzi ready to play. Like there was a moment there where we were unsure like if he was ever gonna like evolve into the MVP that he became last year, and we kind of were like giving him a timetable. Like he's had a
early in the season,
exactly.
Even the fans, they were calling, which sounds crazy now, calling for him to get benched or removed.
Yeah, and he was dropping 0.6s and stuff, and like we were even considering it. We're like, all right, we're gonna give him a couple more events. He's a godlike prodigy, like FPS player. Let's just give him a little more time. And then we kind of got his mind around to it after about 4 or 5 months. And once we got it like clicked, and then he just like started tearing through people, and we were like, okay, cool. Like, and so it's all been different experiences. Like, Illy's a really smart guy. Like he basically he was really like, I think he got like 3rd in Canada chess championship. Like he's a really good chess player, and he doesn't really talk about it at all, but like he's really talented and really smart at games like that. And so I think that made him like way better to work with in COD, because he's just doing all these calculations and like running through situations in his head. So it's fun playing with him. And then now with the boys on the New York squad, Sim hasn't really been in this much of a structured environment. Oh, and like he hasn't really like played with the greatest players or the players that'll like help him get better. And watching ASIM grow this year has been awesome. And then kind of the same thing with Mac and the other players that we've been playing with. They've just been like steadily improving. Like we've asked a lot of Mac this year, and he's like just transitioning from role to role back and forth super well. And for a player like how young he is to be able to just be like going back and forth like that, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, I like what you said a lot about not wanting to take, credit away from them, and I don't think that's. Well, I guess there are some people who are insane that are taking some credit away from them, but I do think that there's a lot to be said. One, for there's 2 points that I really go to. One, people talk about this thing, the Friendship League, and it's hard for new players to break in. You seem like someone always, and now hearing your answer, that's willing to see talent, and it doesn't matter if they have those connections or not. Talent is talent, and you're wanting them on the squad if they're good enough, right? Or if you see that potential. And then 2 is the maybe you don't realize it, but I think that there's a certain getting to play with a Clayster for a young kid does give you some confidence. I think throw anyone in there. Like Porter is a great example, like you said. Seth, like getting to play with a legend, I think you have all the skill in the world and all the potential, and you just kind of feel like, all right, well, we've got the experience here too. So your scouting, though, that's something that definitely
It's been pretty good the last couple years.
Oh, yeah.
I will say it's been.
That's
not
how
bad.
I'm looking at. Like, damn, man, dude, that's like 2 in a row. Like people consider them the best players in the game right now, and it's like, dude, 2 big hits.
I had
It's like
to
a
figure out.
Pokemon. It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
Pokemon break.
yeah. I just ripped open the MVP pack 2 years in a row, bro.
Yeah.
It's dude. I'm just happy to have this kind of like resurgence this late in my career. Like there was a point there where like I didn't know if I'd win another tournament again, and then we went back to back, won another ring, and then had a great year after, which was last year, winning like
Mhm.
3 tournaments and a champs again. So it's like for me, dude, I'm just happy to be here. Like I'm happy, dude. If there's like they're great players, dude, but it's not like I've exactly not done my thing too. Like I've been given, going as hard as I can, and I'm on the tail end of my career, I know that, but I'm still like giving it my all until I'm done. Like I've always given 100% effort, so
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
it's just interesting to me that like the dynamic still works, like kind of putting the ceiling on like when COD players can be pros, like right now. Like I turned 29 in 2 weeks. Like
Well,
it's
I don't.
absurd, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something still to be discussed in COD. You know, as in other sports. I mean, the reaction time thing, I think, is being kind of disproven in some cases, especially in fighting games, which we're in. A lot of the best players in Japan are in their 30s or older, and all we talk about is their like one frame links and stuff, or one frame reactions and stuff. Um, but we got to see. I mean, dude, LeBron's still, in my opinion,
Dude,
the best in the
exactly.
world. Tom Brady. I mean, we're pushing things with a lot of things, and I don't see why
One
he's.
of the like I've done a lot of research into
Yeah,
like Russell Wilson, Tom Brady,
yeah.
uh even Tiger Woods to an extent, and like how they treat their bodies and stuff. And there just needs to be way more like money spent for gamers on like recuperation. Like that's like the main thing. Like like
Mhm.
LeBron's spending like millions a year on like getting him like worked out, like getting stretched, like having a dietitian, all that. Like console sports are like, or not console sports, but esports. Once we get to like that level where we can have, like I would willingly pay 10% of my salary to have like a dedicated trainer that would like work out my arms and my wrists and stuff every day. Like I do it myself,
Mhm.
but I'm
Mhm.
sure there's better ways and like better, like more physiology stuff that like could be more useful, and like techniques to like I like my lower back doesn't hurt, but I know in 10 years it's going to. Like if
Right.
I had somebody working on that every day and stuff, man, and like I do spend some money on it. Like I try and at least like once a week or once every other week go get my arms and wrists and hands stretched out and stuff. Like I think like me taking care of it does help some, but like to have a professional do it, I think like constantly like on the payroll would be fucking awesome.
Even
Oh,
stuff
sorry.
like nutrition and sleep and everything.
Sleep and yeah, overall like that stuff contributes directly to like mental health and like you want to be on top of your mental game. Like I feel like it should be prioritized. I feel like it's only a matter of time until it is. Kind of
We're
like in
getting there. The
sports,
top teams do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it, which is all good stuff. Like I heard about some sleep programs, which is huge. For years, the scrim schedules were like flipped at night, so I was
Yeah.
like, we kind of came around from that, which is cool to see because
Finally.
it's very healthy now. Like,
Finally, dude.
yeah,
We used
dude,
to
what was?
start at 7 East, and then like we would just go until midnight. You'd have 3 sets and be playing until 2 in the morning, dude. It sucked.
Yeah,
Really
and
sucked.
back in those days, like your complexity days, you were in college, right?
Yeah.
At the time, so like, what was your schedule like back then, man?
Dude.
Like, holy cow!
Yeah, it was nuts, dude. A lot of people don't understand. Like I've talked about it a couple times, but the grind that I went through to become a pro was pretty fucking nuts. Like I was in college. I worked at Subway my freshman year in college for like a year. Then I transitioned. I was working at the school newspaper, and I got like a night job. It was like a graveyard shift, basically from like 9 p.m. till like 2 a.m. And so what I would do is I would Monday through Friday go to class 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then I'd work the job from 6 p.m. to like 2, and then I'd come back and play at like 2 a.m. for like 3 hours, and then just keep doing that over and over. And I would have some days where I wouldn't have to work, and I would like 2 days out of the week I wouldn't work, and I would go to school and then play from like 6 p.m. till 3 in the morning, and go to sleep, wake up, and like on 4 hours sleep. And I did that for a year, and then the first semester I did it, I was like trying to get back into being a pro, and like that's when I kind of was like playing with like a bunch of random people. I couldn't really get on a team because everyone was saying I was washed. And then I got on Unite, and then the whole first stint of like Unite and Champs and then
Mhm.
Complexity for BO2, I was doing that schedule. And then there came a time when I was like, I can't do this schedule anymore. I got to drop out to do COD. Like It was a year though. I did that, and it was like 4 hours sleep almost every single night. It was rough. It was rough.
Yeah,
Dude.
that
Dude.
reminds me a lot of my time when I was at school full time, but also my DJ production career was blowing up. So Thursdays, my mom's gonna be hearing all this. Thursdays, Thursdays, I'd start playing a gig on Thursday night. So then Friday was chalked for classes, more or less, except for the late night classes. Then Friday I have another gig. Saturday I have a gig. Sunday try to get as much done as possible. But then if you get booked out of town, basically Monday also gets chalked. So you're playing catch up for 2 of the days of the week, and at a certain point, there had to be a decision made. Shout out to my parents for being accepting of it, and my school to take like 2 years off to just go after music. So, yeah, I know
That's awesome though, man.
But so
sometimes you just gotta grind it out, you just gotta grind it out, and then like
you gotta
Hey,
try.
that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, we're all doing it. So, oh yeah.
So at some point, you're gonna have to take a leap of faith and be like, well, let's try it. Like school will always be there, and that was like my rationale. Like when I dropped out, it's like I can always go back and like I think I need like 18 credits for my bachelor's degree. So like I'll go back
Not
and
bad.
finish that in 10 years when I have kids or something. Like
Yeah. You would have regretted, like in retrospect, if you had just stayed at school. I think. I think the same way too. But you spoke like briefly about you didn't think you were going to ever win a tournament again. What time period was that? Because for those who don't know, your first world title, because you're a 3-time champ, came in 2015?
Advanced Warfare, yeah.
2015.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, it was 2015, and then like, so basically, I had a pretty good start to my career, like my real career. Like I won 7 of 8 with complexity, won the gold medal with optic, some good placements, and then the next year going into Advanced Warfare in 2015, I won a world championship and then 3 more tournaments. And after that, it was rough for a couple years. There was about 4 years there where I didn't win, and then about what was it, 2 years ago now, 2019, I think. Finally got a good squad together, had some promising finishes, and then finally won the last 2 at the end of the year, and then last year won a bunch and won champs again. So it was like really good, and then like 4 years really bad, and then like now 2 years really good. So
you came close though, right? Like in that
a lot.
Like a lot of that's got to be heartbreaking. Then.
Yeah, it was rough, dude. Like it was like, so that was the thing. I've always said, as soon as I'm not competitive, like as soon as I can't play well or like win games, like play well, like I'm not gonna compete anymore. Like as soon as I don't have it, like I'm done. Like I don't want to sit here and like just keep stringing it on. Like I have other opportunities, I have other passions and stuff I could follow. Like I'm comfortable transitioning away once I feel like I can't compete anymore. And I never felt like that during the 4 years that it happened. And this is kind of like Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, World War II, and then into Black Ops 4. And I was always placing well. Like I placed outside of the top 8 like one time, and like I had like probably 5 or 6 top 4 finishes, and like we'd made it 1 grand finals during the time, and like it was good. It wasn't up to my standard at the beginning of my career, like where I was just winning everything, but I still understood like, okay, you can't win everything all the time. I'm still playing well. And then eventually towards the end of it, like at World War II, I hated the game. Like I didn't really like playing World War II at all. Like it was just not my type of game. Like I didn't enjoy the look of it, didn't enjoy the feel of the guns, the sounds of the guns. Like I didn't enjoy how the game played. Like I just didn't like the game. And so then coupled with the fact that I hadn't won in now 2 or 3 years, I was just like, like, do I want to do this anymore? Like, do I want to like really keep like going through this and like yada yada? And
So
I
like
kind of,
3 years ago, or
it was probably like 3 years ago. 3 years ago now. And I kind of had like went and hung out with some friends and family, and we had like a cabin out in the woods and shit. And I kind of like had some time to like think about what I wanted to do. And one of the things I really like dedicated myself to was I really wanted to win another ring. And that, like, I didn't really care if I won another tournament. I just wanted to win like another ring. And like winning another tournament was ideal, but the main goal for me was like, hey, I've already played for this long. Like I'm gonna give it another like couple years, and I'm gonna really try like really hard to win another ring. and like
Mhm.
try like go 100%, try and get the best team I can get, try and like be the best teammate, the best player, the best leader, like the best all that stuff. And I think that's like really where all this leadership stuff comes from is I try to improve as like a human being overall and like stop
Mhm.
focusing on the wins and stop focusing on like, okay, I need to go and win this tournament, but like focus on the little things and like getting like the friendships between me and my teammates and like making sure I go out of my way to text them and like ask about like, just like hang out with them and spend like all the little stuff that helps you get better as a team. I kind of dedicated myself to and read a ton of books and like I've read a ton of psychology books and sports books and I'm reading one right now, The Inner Game of Tennis.
Oh, that's a great book.
That's a
Yeah,
good.
and
Yeah.
and it's just like I'm all into this stuff, and so I kind of like dedicated myself the last couple years to it, and um, I haven't been as good with it this year as I've actually like to admit, but I think like making that promise to myself, like I was gonna win another tournament and ideally another ring. It's crazy how quick it happened. Like the next year I won a ring, and then last year, like the year after I won another ring. I'm like, okay, well, now I've won
So it's
3 of
actually
them.
made the promise to
Yeah.
itself. It's like I know it's kind of overused these days, but manifested, right?
Yeah, I mean seriously,
I
Mhm.
mean,
like
and I think that what's always interesting to me about Call of Duty, well, not so much anymore, but when it used to be opens, right, or majors, um, the focus on those versus focusing on champs, like it's different from traditional sports in where people don't really care if you win as much during the regular season as long as you get it together by playoffs and whatever sport it is, by the
mhm,
pennant,
yeah.
if you're on all cylinders, by NBA finals, Super Bowl, college football, whatever, March Madness. I think that that focus on the ring, I don't know. I bet it's different for every player. I bet some people are focused, every single tournament is do or die, um, win or bust. But man, yeah, I've always wondered about that because you see it throughout multiple games, not just Call of Duty, but people who just get and your E United squad and your Dallas Empire squad that won champs, you guys just got it together at the right time, you know, really peaking at the right time. And
It's all about the ebb and the flow, man. Like you have to learn how to peak at the right time, and you see so many examples. Like last year, Florida was insanely good for 3 events that didn't matter, and if they would have learned to ebb and flow their way and like peak like that at champs, like they would have just annihilated everyone. And
Mhm.
that's something I've
Mhm.
learned how to do 100%. And every tournament you play is practice for champs because you don't get tournament experience in that game until you're playing in a tournament versus good teams, like the
Mhm.
teams you're in the league playing.
Mhm.
And so every tournament you play is a learning experience for champs. Like if you bomb out, if you make it to the losers finals, if you make it to the winners finals, this is how it feels against this team. This is how it feels when the pressure's on us. This is how we react to this. And you have to be able to like learn from that every single time and understand the goal is the end of the year. And like it's a little different this year because I mean there's 50K each if you win these tournaments, which is a significant amount of money, like
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. And even for like, COD rich standards, like 50K, like I go hard as hell in these tournaments. Like I really do want to win them, but it's not like as do or die because it should be learning experiences for the big dance and winning
Mhm.
them can show and prove to you like, hey, we just did it. We just won one of these majors. That means we can win champs. We just got to understand how we won this major, what we did right, what is going to be countered the next time we play these people, like how we adapt our strategies to then fix it. So it can't just be like you play well, you're like, yeah, we played good, let's do the same thing next tournament. Like you play a tournament well and you win it, you got to go to the drawing board and be like, okay, they're going to scout this that we love to do. So now we got to change this to this. And so like people are going to expect this out of us, but we're going to do this instead. And you create fake looks. And that's when you create like the
Mhm.
decoys where you like send somebody and they throw a bunch of stuff and then you go the
Mhm.
other way. And like, it's all a huge metagame and like feeds on itself. So it's just, you have to stay on top of it. Like as soon as you start getting like stagnant and like, just like, oh, we got third in a tournament or, oh, we got second or first in a tournament. Let's just do the same thing. Like we don't got to get better. Like that's really when you're
Yeah.
kind of like failing
Yeah.
yourself in a way.
That's some like great perspective. Like I feel like sometimes when I look at the timeline, I don't know if this mindset is true, but like obviously immediately after people like lose a tournament, like some teams are bad for like another couple weeks or until they make a change, and I feel like they don't necessarily focus on the process necessarily as like you do or some of the other, I guess, veterans, and it goes to show why I think that's like one of the most important like things about if you're having like young players on the team, like making sure that they understand these things, that because obviously like you said, like you win a tournament, like you get 50K, but you also got to change your strats, or you lose, you got to be the person scouting. Like sometimes I don't know, people might fall behind on that, and the reason why I think that is because look at the last 2 years, like you've proven that this process you're doing the best at it. So it's really good perspective, dude.
Dude, if every
sure.
pro team didn't just watch Toronto, everything they did, and
Mhm.
just stole it, then they're doing it wrong. like
Yeah.
we literally watch all their searches. We're like, okay, you see how they retake this bomb site? Let's do that. And if they're smart and understand that, then they create counters to their own strats that people are stealing, and like they know how to counter it. They know what's open when they're doing their setup. So like, but sometimes for a team like Toronto, I actually think they have a great coaching staff up there. So I think like that's not a problem for them. But I think for some teams, they might not understand that, and then like they get their own strats used against them, and they're like, "What do we do?" And it's like, well, you didn't even understand your own strat to begin with. You just something stuck to the wall. Like
yeah, they
So
just
there's
copy pasted a mini map.
stagnation on both ends. I mean,
Mhm.
you can't just win and
Can't copy and paste a mini map on a setup and search like Clay's saying. I guess your point is like you got to actually understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's really good as well. Yeah. I kind of want to move on to the next topic because I'm not into this yet, but I kind of want to hear you guys' thoughts on, obviously Clay's doing Pokemon streams and
oh,
stuff
we're
like
gonna
that.
get you,
Yeah.
bro.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not bullying yet.
dude.
I bought into one break of Clay so far, and
Did you get anything?
No, nothing big, but I
Dude.
told Clay going into it, like, and if people don't understand this, well, I'll let Clay talk about breaking more first, but when you buy into breaks, if you're expecting to make your money back or to make a like what do you call it, return on investment, like make money, you're probably more times than not going to end up disappointed. You have to really do this for the fun of it, the experience of it, and realize that it's a big game of chance. But I'm really big into sports cards. This is my first time getting back into Pokemon. I told Clay this. I'll tell the stream this. It's like the biggest all of my life, maybe. I had the entire base set and fossil, and I think maybe even Team Rocket, or I don't know what it was called in America. I moved to Japan, but I had the entire set, all holos plus some duplicates, collected in a binder. The first two sets of Pokemon completely collected. Over the course of moving, I'm now 31, just turned 31. I lost it, all my Pokemon cards. So seeing the explosion of this hobby, knowing what I had, and knowing how well I took care of my Clay, my 2 Charizards from base set 1. I still have some like feelings about getting back into it because I know what I've lost. But
Dude, that's
I
rough.
want to kick it to Clay because this is a really cool thing that I've seen you taking on. But it's really kind of popping off in esports community in general, streaming community in general, and also just the COD community. And you're kind of, to me, the I don't know what the right term is, the Professor Oak of it all right now.
And silly, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I've been enjoying the hell out of it, man. Like, I kind of gotten like into a bit of a rut with quarantine and stuff going on, and then probably around like November, October of last year, I started kind of paying attention to more Pokemon streams and going to the Pokemon like Twitch channels, or like not Twitch channel, but like the subgroup where people were opening cards and stuff. And I found it like really fun. Like I was really interested and entertained by it, and I've been collecting for a long time. Like me and my brothers have a gigantic collection from like first editions, base set, like Fossil Jungle, all that. But we played with all those cards when we were kids, and so they're like PSA 6s if we got them graded. Like we literally have them all, but like we've looked at them and it's like, yeah, this is like warped as fuck, or this has got a chip on it, or like they're not.
I remember because Clay,
Rubber Bandit, man.
30s. It was a trading card game.
Yeah.
And like we as kids played that game hardcore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I
I've
played
had
the
no
game.
money.
I'm trying to just like understand more about like where this is headed, man. Because I'm just watching. I'm like, dude, do I buy into a break, man? Like I don't know. I might lose it
It's
all, man. You know,
no,
like
that's the thing
yeah,
too. Is like
yeah.
we've collected for a while. We still have our collection. I've been into it, but I kind of stopped. Like my little brother actually. Not a lot of people know this. So he has autism and he competes in like Pokemon video game fighting, and he like IV trains all his stuff and like goes to competitions and like he plays in it. So Pokemon's like a huge part of my like life because
Yeah.
we were on it growing up. He's still heavy into it, and he like we bond over Pokemon all the time. So I'm not as familiar with like the modern stuff, but I've been kind of staying in the loop with him. And now, like me getting back into it, now I'm kind of updating and refreshing everything on it. And so it's a cool thing that like me and my brother share. I have two older ones and then him, my younger one, and we're all into it. And then, now like I started off with like, buying breaks on Twitch and just spending like 10, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, just buying separate packs. And then I finally had like a good hit in one of them, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's the dopamine I needed. Like there's that RNG love. And so like it's just a complete gamble. Like it's a huge gamble, and I would say
You have
with
to
all
realize it is pretty much at the high ends too. The high ends, sports cards for me, but also high end vintage breaks. It is gambling more or less.
yeah,
Like people
it's
should.
real life loot boxes. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
gambling. Like it really
Yeah.
is. And you got to understand that, and that's why I always am super transparent about the prices and stuff, like and all that. And it takes a significant amount of time to actually do those huge breaks that I've been doing, like the vintage ones. Like not only creating all this stuff, but hitting people up and doing the
Pricing
payments
it
and
out, everything.
yeah, all that stuff, and then doing the stream and then packaging all the cards up and making sure everybody gets what
Great
they want. And
packaging.
like, hey,
This is I've
let's go.
bought into a lot of sports card breaks. This is good packaging.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, I worked hard. People paid good money for it, so I made sure
Yeah.
everything was good to
Did you
go.
package
And
this or did Lynn
I
buy
did.
it?
That's all me, bro. I'm a
Okay.
one
Dude,
man
I
show.
believe it.
Before
Yeah,
giving you
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
check.
She's just in the background, pissed off, like doing labor for free. And it's been a lot of fun, man. I've really enjoyed it, and like the first break, I was super nervous and whatnot, and then now like I've done 3 vintage boxes. I believe I did a rocket box, I did a base set 2, and then I just did the gym hero or gym challenge, whatever. Gym heroes. I don't remember which one it was. And then I'm deciding on my next one, and I just signed a deal with a trading card shop where I get
That's
a ton of
awesome.
product every month, and I get to break it on stream for. I'm either gonna sell it like to viewers, or I'm just gonna open it myself. Like either or I can do. They said, and it's just nice to have something else to stream. Like it's a good. The Pokemon community is awesome. First of all, like all the streamers and like big dudes I've met, like Island Grown and Mystic Seven,
Island Ground's
and
awesome. I'm
yeah.
from Hawaii too, so shout out
Oh
to him.
yeah, and like Sweatsicle and like all those guys, like I've kind of like they're like a Destiny player and this guy's this player and whatever, but like we all have like a shared love of Pokemon cards. And
Mhm.
it's opened me to a ton of other communities and other people that share similar values as I do. And we've been like collaborating and helping each other out and showing love to each other's stream. And I think it's just a cool community, man. Like it's super loving and accepting and kind, and everybody's in it just for the good luck and the rush
Mhm.
of it. And that's what makes all these breaks fun. Like, dude, getting to open up like Charizards, like $1,000 Charizard, like even though it might not be mine, like I love it. Like it's still like
Yeah,
holding
dude.
that card and seeing it and like it's fresh out of the pack, like fresh,
I think
Yeah.
people don't understand that aspect of it because in the sports breaks I've been in,
Mhm.
I actually saw the live. I wasn't in the break, but I was watching it. The Luca that got pulled that sold for $4 million this year.
Oh my god.
And the guy,
Dude.
I'll send you the YouTube
You
because the
should.
guy, he's a friend of mine, Brad. He sees it, right? Because it's the next card up. There's like a camera over here. So like it's over there. He goes, oh my God. Oh my effing
Yeah.
God.
I
I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. He gets up like this. He's like, I don't want to touch it, man. I don't want to touch it. And then so he knows the logo, man, from NT, one of one. Luca's the hottest thing in the world at that time.
yeah. I
And
remember.
he's like, give me a MagSafe. Give me a MagSafe. I'm not touching this. I'm not touching this. He picks it up, puts it in the MagSafe, which is for those that don't know, it's like a way to kind of protect the card. And he's holding it and he's shaking. He's like, this, I can't believe this. But like people were asking, like, that's not your card. Why do you care? And I've heard him or other breakers answer like, I'm so excited for the person who paid money and who gets this. And
Mhm.
also just to know that you're holding history. Like
Like,
I've
I
seen
opened
vintage
it.
breaks
Yeah.
where people open like a Michael Jordan rookie, and it's not for them, but they're just like shaking. I've seen Pokemon breaks where they get first edition Zards and they're just like, it's not theirs, but it's got to be a rush on that end of it. And dude, I love to see your excitement for the homies too. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, you got it too, man. Like because like everybody that's buying into the break not only is supporting you who's doing it, because like very rarely are they exactly a cost, you know? Like there's still some amount of profit made. So then like you're just happy that they're supporting you and then they got something good. Like I wish everybody could pull something good, you know? Like that's the goal
Yeah.
is like everybody to feel good about it. And that's also why we like in this last break, I included like those tops packs and stuff like that.
I'm open.
Yeah, so they're not. It's not much, but at least you have a chance again at something. Like the Zards in there is worth a couple $100 if you get the hollow one. So
Yeah, no, but
um,
also it's fun to rip stuff, and with the way that prices are in the hobby for both hobbies, we don't get to rip that much anymore, or I don't get to rip that much anymore. I have to buy into stuff. But I think it's your story is similar to a lot of people during quarantine. Sports cards, Pokemon comics, a lot of collectibles have gone through the roof. But it's a great nostalgia trip, and I suggest that everyone checks out Clayster's next break. You don't have to buy in. Just like I watched your other one, I didn't buy in to. Just come hang out, have fun, see people's joy over, and like we all reminisce over seeing these cards. The ones of us that are old enough, like, dude, I remember seeing a lot of those cards and playing with them, and it's awesome.
that's
I
the
want to
coolest.
keep going. So.
Yeah, that's the coolest part. Is like I had people message me being like, I don't even know what's going on, but that was super entertaining. It's like that. As long as you can come there and enjoy it in some
Did
way,
tell
like
me a bit when
Yeah.
Hex didn't know anything and he got the what did he get from
it was a
You got
PSA.
something crazy.
The Magneton, I think, ended up being a 9.5 or something.
well he
He got
BGS'd it. He BGS'd
yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, he like I don't know how he did that. He
Dude,
like
he did
knows
walkthrough.
someone.
He did walkthrough.
They were closed. Like he knew someone, went back door, like got a
he
great
bought the leather
the
case
pouch.
and flexed on
Yeah,
all of us.
Yeah. Isn't PSA like super behind right now? Like
yeah.
on cards
I
anyway?
have
Like
cards I
millions of
sent in.
cards.
Yeah, I have cards I sent in
So-
November still
Mhm.
in PSA.
So
Yeah.
Clay, we're gonna have to do a whole different card podcast later because this is gonna drag on forever. But
Yeah,
another
love
thing
cards,
is that
man.
PSA just acquired a company that does digital. So grading has been done by hand, right? They're doing like photo based. It's gonna speed it up a lot. But people in sports cards are afraid that it means that tens are gonna be rarer. A lot more nines, but then 9 becomes the standard. But it'll speed up the process. One rumor I've heard is that maybe PSA was testing out this photo process, and that's why some people have been upset with their PSA grades recently. But I digress.
Conspiracy.
A lot to
Mm.
think about. But
All my friends' cards have been got back from PSA and were not 10s. Like a lot of them.
yeah. So there's a conspiracy theory about that. But
Mhm.
it's fine. Like if 9 becomes the new 10, it's fine, and then your 10s are worth so much more. But yeah, I think we could have a whole thing about this. I got Hunter to buy into a sports card break. He got the Dallas Cowboys, which is his team.
Yes, sir.
He got such beginner's luck, man. He got a CD Lamb, True RPA. He got a 101 plate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, dude. One break and that's what you got. Like nutty.
Dude. Yeah, the 101 Mari, like it was a crazy break, and like what you guys were saying earlier, like I was hyped, and then like the guy, like he knew that it was my first ever break, and he like showed the CD Lamb, and he was just so excited. He was like, "Let's go! Like this is great!" All that, he was excited for me, and that got me even more riled up. I started like freaking out. So I love that part of it. It's great to see that kind of community like that. So people in chat were like nice and all that stuff. So
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Love cards. I'm glad it's been a release for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's something else for you to postcard just a little more content and things to transition into. I remember these, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I remember going to the movies and getting them.
Fire. You gonna open it?
Yeah.
All right.
I
Let's
want
do it.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, what do you think? What do you think we're gonna see? There's no card
I
trick.
don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea. I
Dude,
haven't even opened one of those.
Yeah.
I did back in the day because someone thought that these were the. All right, we got a. Oh, dude, they have like a puzzle in the back.
That's the coolest part. Let's go.
Tentacruel.
Dude, I remember that one specifically, dude. I probably
Ditto
have one of those.
King. See, I can see the backs of the thing. Oh, I messed up. Dude, how do you feel also handling the cards? Because like I would be nervous.
Dude, I
handling-
was nervous at first, but I've gotten more comfortable and more.
Yeah, have you holding it like this, man? Have you like shaking my hand?
hollow, kind of
Hey.
hollow. Oak right
Clayster
there.
Oak. Pikachu.
Can't ever be mad about a Pikachu.
Another oak.
On hollow oak. Interesting collation and Venusaur. Dude, that's fun. Look, these are not even probably worth that much, but that's fun. It's always fun to rip them.
You would be surprised. Those packs are like, I think between like $50 and $100 each one of those packs.
Oh, so
Wow.
maybe I shouldn't have ripped it.
No, I mean, dude, hey, you got a starter at the end of Hollow Oak, so
Dude,
hey,
I
those
got a
actually
starter in a hollow oak
and the
it's
Pika.
so much
so.
fun to rip.
Yeah. Opening a literal 20-year-old pack, like,
Dude, they're not not even
crazy.
like sticky or anything. Great. condition.
like it's nuts. They've been
Wild to
in
me.
there for 20 years, like in that sealed pack.
Clay, are you
sitting
ever
somewhere.
are you ever gonna get up to doing not even a first edition, but a base set one? You think?
Dude, I like, so I can do an unlimited. I could do a base set unlimited.
Okay.
Potential shadowless boxes are out of my range, and then first edition boxes are way out of my like. I've got money, but I ain't got money like that.
No.
For that's like you're talking $250,000 to $400K for a first edition base set. So like
Dude,
I
I'm
could.
Huh? I
Dude.
own like a percentage share of a first edition box through this app called Rally because I was just checking it out. It's where you can buy shares of vintage products. Yeah,
What? What's it called?
check it out, Rally.
Okay.
Okay, so basically the concept is like for collectors that want to own a piece of something, but you can't ever buy the full thing. You can buy shares, like it's like a stock, and it
That's
IPOs
nuts.
and stuff. So I own like I think 2 shares or whatever it is. I don't know how much percentage that is of
Yeah.
a first edition box, and I can sell those shares or whatever. I could keep buying other people's shares to like own the entire box, which I'm not going to do. I'm not that rich. And then I can ask Rally to take the box out of storage and just give it to me. But it's a cool concept.
That is an
They're doing
interesting
it-
concept.
Yeah, they're doing it with cards, with watches. I think with cars, not cards, wine and sports cards and sports
It's
memorabilia.
interesting. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
It's cool though. Maybe one day. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe when my crypto turns into $1 million.
I know, right? Yeah,
That's what I'm hoping. To the moon, baby.
Yeah, I've been a long time Bitcoin and Ethereum guy. Like dude, I was using Bitcoin in 2013.
Holy cow.
Dude,
Yeah.
are you? No, you don't share how much you hell. But that's crazy.
I
Yeah.
can only imagine based off that statement, though.
I'm not as much as you think. Like I'm
You
good.
know-
I got enough, but like I wish I didn't fuck around with or screw around with
Bro,
it. So
I got
Yeah,
back
you're
in the
good.
day. I know we have a hard stop coming up, but I had back in the day this guy at an after party. After a pretty big rave, it was like an EDC Halloween thing. He came up to us and he was like, "You guys killed it. I was like watching you guys play," and it was like me and some other DJs, and he's like, "I want to talk to you guys about something in the future." And he was talking about Bitcoin, and he was trying to sell us all 300 Bitcoins, and I was like, "Bro, you're not the guy I want to buy anything from. Like, you could come up to me right now and tell me something I really want." Like, I don't know what I really wanted back then. Like, you could come up to me and sell me a Shadowless Charizard PSA 10. I'm not going to buy it from you because you look sketch. But he was like, I could sell you 300 Bitcoins. It's going to be the future. It's going to be worth so much. And I talked to everyone who was there at that after party sometimes. I'm like, guys, what if we had just bought the 300 Bitcoins, all of us, from that tweaker? Like, we would be
Be
We'd be
rich,
set.
bro.
Literally multi-millionaires, bro.
Dude, that's
Dude, we all
gotta
thought
be
he was
rough to
such an
think about,
idiot. We
bro.
all thought he was such an idiot. And then
Oh no.
one guy, he was like, I do think Bitcoin has potential, but I don't think we should buy it. I don't think we should buy that much. And I was
15 million right now
yeah.
per person.
Dude. Just thinking about that, I lost full for you, man. Like,
Dude, don't
Full
worry.
over
I
that.
could have bought Ethereum at $8, bro. At $8 a pop, I was buying Ethereum at $8 and I didn't buy enough of it, and it's at 2,500, or
Dude,
you know what I'm
don't
saying? So like
worry.
everybody's had their L's, dude, in
There's
crypto.
always
Everybody.
another
yeah.
play. There's
Dude,
always
yeah.
another break. There's always another. There's
Crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not looking at my portfolio right now.
It's all like, yeah.
Yeah, I put in some into this like auto trader that this guy I know is having a pretty successful auto trader, and I was like, okay, I got a little bit extra cash. I have all my like safe investments, my crypto, all this up. So here, I'll throw some money in. I'm like, the past 2 months we've been getting annihilated. I'm like, oh man, like the stock market right now is just not it. Like,
Dude, I think though, you should make a little challenge of like take $1,000 and through investments try to turn it into a shadowless or first edition box. That would be a awesome challenge.
dude, I hope. I hope I can do that like 100 times.
I don't know, dude. If you bought the right, like new coin, small coin now.
Yeah, it's
could
tough.
happen.
It's honestly tough though. So I've tried to get into the day trading, not only in the stock market, but also into the crypto market a little bit. And I've seen some success, but it's hard for me to do it while competing. And like I can't watch the charts all day.
That's
And
the
so
thing.
like
You gotta
I need to
Yeah.
commit. I need to like once I'm done competing and I have free time or whatever it is, like, and I can wake up and watch the charts all day. Like I think I'll try it a little more. But right now I just pay like people to do it for me.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was thinking about doing the
those.
same thing.
I
Like,
don't
and I
want to
started
go.
looking into it, and I was like, I don't have the time for this, man. Like, there's no way. Like, dude,
Mhm.
it takes a lot of time to do shit like
Yeah.
that.
Let's wrap it up because Clay's been a trooper.
Yeah.
He got his second shot. I think recently. So
Yes, sir.
he's probably a little tired, but
Yeah.
yeah. Just the last thing on that. As Doge was pumping up to 45, I had to go offline for like an extended period of time. And I have a lot of Doge just from back when, what was it, like GME was popping off. And like, I was like, I'm going to take some GME money, put it in this for fun. Then, long story short, it got stuck in Robinhood. Then it got unlocked. And then it started to pump. And I saw it like at 17 cents. I had to go offline for like 10 hours. And then I got messages from people being like, you sold at 40, right? I'm like, 40? What? What? Like, what hit 40? And then I looked, and then I saw that it had come down. I still made a lot off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you bought it during the GME hype.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, we did.
But
Still got some AMC. Come on and
yeah,
So do I, man.
we'll talk about it off air sometimes.
Yeah.
Wins and L's.
Oh,
and
DGen.
it was fun and horrible. But shout out to you, man. Looking forward to the squad, whatever it may be. We are big NYSL fans over here, Astro family, but also I think you guys have a lot of talent both between current squad, academy, and just I'd love to see how it all comes together as the stage progresses, stage 4, and then like we said, Eye on the Ring, Eye on Champs.
Mhm.
Anything you'd like to close out with?
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on, man. Appreciate both of you guys. It's been a great conversation. Yeah, shout out Subliner, shout out my team. We got some announcements coming soon, and check me out on all social media platforms at Clayster. Appreciate it, guys.
We'll put it all in the description, and yeah, shout out to Clayster, and make sure you guys check out those Pokemon breaks. I'm serious, it's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
All right, peace,
Peace,
guys.
everybody.
Later.